You said you were done chasing a better version of yourself. You said you were done trying to become more spiritual, more healed, more evolved, more complete. You said you saw through the endless loop of self-improvement. You saw that life was already happening. You saw that nothing was missing. You saw that the narrator wasn't in charge. Good. Now what are you doing with that? Because there's a subtle trap that shows up right here. When becoming falls away, participation can quietly fall with it. When self-improvement loses its grip, momentum can soften into passivity. When identity collapses, responsibility can blur. And if we're not careful, we start calling withdrawal peace. We start calling avoidance presence. We start calling low energy acceptance. And no one notices, not even us. Season 10 is not about becoming someone new. It's about participating fully without turning participation into a project. You don't need a better identity, but you do need to live, not float, not drift, live. There's a difference between not becoming and not engaging. You can see through ego and still build something. You can see through identity and still show up for your family. You can see through narrative and still lead. You can see through the illusion of control and still take responsibility. Awareness doesn't excuse you from life. It removes the armor so you can enter it more honestly. And that's where this season begins. Let's be direct. If you're not trying to become anything, then what are you doing when things get hard? When someone challenges you, when your child talks back, when your partner misunderstands you, when your bank account feels tight, when your energy drops, when your team at work needs leadership, when something inside you says, I don't feel like it, are you participating? Or are you retreating behind philosophy? This isn't a criticism, it's a mirror. There is a version of non-becoming that is powerful, and there is a version that is disguised avoidance. One is alive, the other is comfortable, and comfort is subtle. It doesn't look dramatic. It looks like scrolling. It looks like, I'm just observing. It looks like, I don't need to engage. It looks like staying neutral when clarity is required. It looks like staying silent when truth would help. It looks like refusing to decide because there's no self to decide. But life still moves. Bills still show up. Children still grow. Relationships still require care. Communities still need participation. You don't get to dissolve the ego and disappear. Not if you're alive. There's a mature stage of awareness that no one talks about enough. It's the return. Not the return to identity. Not the return to chasing. But the return to the ordinary world without armor. You still wake up. You still brush your teeth. You still answer messages. You still cook dinner. You still build. You still repair. You still apologize. You still choose. The difference now, you don't do it to become someone. You do it because it's here. Participation without becoming. That's the spine of Season 10. Here's the challenge. Stop hiding behind neutrality. There are moments that require strength. And strength doesn't mean ego. It means clarity. It means steadiness. It means saying no when no is needed. It means saying yes without hesitation when yes is clear. It means not collapsing when discomfort rises. It means not inflating when praise arrives. Participation is not loud, but it is active. You don't need to hustle. You don't need to grind. You don't need to reinvent yourself every year. But you do need to stand where you are. Fully. Take a real-world example. You're tired. Work has been heavy. Your partner is frustrated. You could withdraw. You could say, I'm just allowing what is. You could call it emotional regulation. Or you could lean in. You could ask, what's actually needed right now? Not from identity, from care. You don't become a better spouse. You participate as one. You don't become a better parent. You participate as one. You don't become a better leader. You participate as one. Participation is simpler than becoming, but it requires more honesty. Becoming is fantasy-based. Participation is immediate. Becoming says, one day I'll show up better. Participation says, I'm here now. There's another layer to this. When becoming dissolves, ambition changes. It doesn't disappear, clarifies. You might still build a business. You might still write a book. You might still train your body. You might still push your limits. But the fuel shifts. It's no longer so I can prove something. It's no longer so I can finally feel enough. It's no longer so they see me. It becomes expression, contribution, exploration. You don't become the builder, you build. You don't become the strong one, you train. You don't become the enlightened one, you live. And if you notice yourself shrinking under the idea that there's no self, pause, that's confusion. There may be no solid identity to defend, but there is a human life unfolding, and it needs your participation. Some of you listening have softened so much that you've lost your edge. Not because you're weak, because you've mistaken stillness for withdrawal. Stillness is powerful. Withdrawal is quiet avoidance. Stillness allows clarity. Withdrawal avoids friction. You don't need to be intense, but you do need to be available. Available to discomfort, available to responsibility, available to risk, available to being misunderstood, available to taking action without narrative. If you've been drifting a little, this is your wake-up moment. Not harsh, not shame-based, just honest. Life doesn't need you to become anything, but it does need you to show up. There's something beautiful about this stage. When you're no longer obsessed with who you are, you can actually respond to what's in front of you, without the story, without the identity check, without the inner commentary. Someone needs help. You help. Something needs repair. You repair. Something needs structure. You create it. Something needs to end. You end it. Clean, simple, present, not dramatic, not inflated, not heavy. And when you rest fully, not collapsing, not escaping, not numbing, just resting. Because participation includes recovery. Participation includes play. Participation includes silence. But none of it is hiding. So here's the core question again. If you're not becoming, then what are you doing? Are you building? Are you loving? Are you contributing? Are you strengthening? Are you speaking clearly? Are you repairing what you can? Are you releasing what you can't? Or are you hovering in philosophical comfort? This season is about integration with backbone, soft heart, strong spine, clear eyes, no identity to defend, but full participation in life. You don't need to go backward. You don't need to pick up ego again. You don't need to hustle for worth. But you also don't get to disappear. Life is relational, even if the self is thin, even if the narrator is quiet, even if the search is over. You are here, and here requires involvement. There's something deeply human about choosing to participate when you no longer need anything from it. That's maturity. That's strength without performance. That's care without possession. That's discipline without self-punishment. And that's where we're going this season. For this week, try something simple. Pick one area where you've been slightly passive. Not dramatically, just subtly. Maybe it's a conversation you've avoided. Maybe it's a decision you've postponed. Maybe it's a structure you've resisted creating. Maybe it's your body. Maybe it's your work. Maybe it's your home. And instead of trying to become better, just participate. No story, no reinvention, no self-critique. Just show up and act. Cleanly. Notice how different that feels from self-improvement. Notice how it feels stronger, quieter, more grounded. This isn't about intensity. It's about availability. Season 10 is about returning to the ordinary world without armor. No position to defend. No identity to inflate. No narrative to maintain. Just clear participation. And if that sounds simple, good. It is. But it's not passive. And it's not weak. It's mature. If this resonates, stay with the season. We're going to explore conflict without identity, authority without ego, discipline without shame, love without ownership, strength without performance, and how to move forward without building a hero story. If this episode stirred something in you, share it with someone who might need a reminder that awareness isn't an exit, it's an entry. And if you're ready to stop hovering and start participating, stay here. Season 10 has begun.